After the defeat of the shogun in the Japanese Civil War, it's pretty evident that this is the end of the samurai. The shogun was a military dictator who held the samurai rights in place, and now with the shogun gone, the emperor can freely pave the way for modernization. There's no place left for a traditional caste like the samurai. But one samurai comes up with a clever idea. Enomoto Takeaki, a samurai who fought for the shogun, goes to the emperor to propose an idea. Okay, so I understand the samurai don't have a place in Japan anymore, but what if we preserved these ancient traditions outside of Japan? All we need to do is head up north to the island of Esso, and there we could establish a colony where samurai can still remain with all of their rights intact. And the emperor says, no. What are you, stupid? I literally just fought a war about this, don't do that! So Enomoto has been denied. It is the will of the emperor. There will be no colonization of the northern island. It is the end of the shogunate, and officially the end of the samurai. And Enomoto reflects on this, knowing it is the end of an era, and says to himself, I'm gonna do it anyway. So Enomoto takes thousands of soldiers and sails up north to the island of Esso. And he also brings a secret weapon. French officers who have been training troops in the Civil War, who are now going to train these soldiers and turn them into a modernized army unlike any other. And so, on January 27, 1869, the Republic of Esso is established. And the Republic of Esso is pretty much an exact copy of the US government, with one exception. The samurai are going to be the people who get to vote, decide over things, and have anything to do with freedom. And an election is held amongst the samurai, and it's decided the first president of this democratic republic will be Enomoto Takeaki, the guy who spearheaded this whole thing. Makes sense. But there are some issues brewing. Most of Enomoto's soldiers are ordinary men. To be a samurai means to come from a warrior caste. It doesn't take long for these people to realize that the end of the shogunate means they will never be granted the rank of samurai. The emperor isn't about to give them that title, and Takeaki has no right to give them that title. And the French officers were brought here to train soldiers, but actually they're not supposed to be in Japan anymore. After the Civil War ended, the emperor had them expelled. And the samurai who had been brought here are not exactly honorable types. The war in the samurai caste is supposed to be over. So why are any of these people here? Well, there's one particular thing that stands out about Enomoto Takeaki. He is insanely rich. He is most likely the richest man in all of Japan, and quite possibly he has more wealth than the emperor himself. How did he get this rich? Well, Enomoto became rich through dedication, hard work, and solid investments of sacking every castle he came across during the Civil War. But alright, sure, we're not getting equal rights, and the living conditions are not great, and our allegiances are questionable at best, but the paycheck is pretty good. And as the settlers are getting accustomed to living here, they're also a bit confused about what this Republic of Esso even is. So people are asking, are we traitors? Have we committed treason by coming here? And Enomoto goes, no. Well, we did go against the emperor's will, but actually we're doing what he wants. He just doesn't know it yet. And people are asking, are we a separate nation from Japan? And Enomoto goes, no. Well, yes and no. We do have our own government, but we do also serve the emperor, who said not to do this. But no, but also yes, but no. But we have a flag. Why do we have our own flag? Well, flags are cool. So far, the plan is pay people what you want them to do and problems will go away. And this turns out not to be a good plan because people are happy with money for a while until they figure out they have nothing to spend it on. And so distrust is growing in the Republic of Esso. And Enomoto can tell that people are getting upset and things are not beginning to go as planned. So all he needs to do now is send a letter to the emperor and tell him that he can take over from here. So he decides to send a letter to the emperor and declares, I have established a new colony on the northern island of Esso to be ruled over by the emperor. And all I ask for as a thanks is that the samurai get to live here in peace. And also, while we're at it, as a great thanks, send over the shogun to Esso and he can be the shogun here. And the emperor writes back and says, this is the exact opposite of what I told you to do, but don't worry, we will solve this situation. We're going to come over so that we can kill you. And well, there's no choice now. Esso has not been recognized by the emperor. And so the Republic of Esso declares itself to be independent, a free modern democracy, a revolution akin to the American War of Independence or a French Revolution. And it shall prove itself by sending out dignitaries across these Western nations and get recognition for its own independence. They get no response back, no one cares. Enomoto is getting the impression that the incoming Imperial Navy could very well spell the end of his new nation. He has a secret weapon, the soldiers trained by the French officers, but decides this might not be enough. So he decides to build a large fort, a great defense against this incoming invasion. But that is going to cost a lot of money. And as the building of the fort goes on, he finds that he, Enomoto Takeaki, the richest man in all of Japan, has run out of money. He has completely blown away all of his riches on this whole endeavor. So Enomoto puts heavy taxes on everyone, and for every single thing he can find. Do you want to enter the town? That's a tax. Oh, you want to go to the other side of town? That's a tax. Oh wait, you're leaving town? Well, that's also a tax. People are getting taxed for very minor things, and the anger is really starting to boil over amongst people. The people who have been getting paid quite well to put up with being here are now instead losing all of their money to taxes. And amongst everyone in Esso, there's now talk about rebelling against Enomoto. But time is up. It's been 6 months since the Republic was declared, and the Imperial Navy is now here. But Enomoto has been very well prepared for this moment. A fort, his soldiers, and a secret weapon. The French generals who have been training these soldiers into modern killing machines. But if you fought in the Japanese Civil War, then you're probably expecting some wooden ships to come by. But no, things have changed quite rapidly in the Japanese Navy since. Instead, the Japanese Navy shows up with an ironclad ship with Gatling guns attached, and they blow the crap out of these soldiers trained by the French generals. And the French generals witness this, and they immediately get on a ship and sail all the way back to France. And as the siege goes on and Esso is destined to lose the battle, Enomoto keeps fighting. He is trying to put sense into these people, they just don't get it. He is doing this for the Emperor. But no, Enomoto is finally arrested and dragged all the way back to Tokyo to face trial. Enomoto is being accused of high treason to the Emperor, the most dishonorable thing a person could do. And Japan's newly formed democratic government, so recent that the Republic of Esso actually precedes it, is now set to sentence Enomoto. And everyone agrees that Enomoto has committed treason. Except for one man who stands up for his case. Kuroda Kiyotaka, the Navy commander who fought against Enomoto in the attack against the Republic of Esso. And he says, we can't sentence Enomoto for treason, because I was there. And even as Enomoto was losing the battle, he never once denounced the Emperor. In fact, even in the heat of battle, he praised the Emperor and stated again and again that he was doing this for him. And remember that even as he declared Esso to be independent from Japan, even as he was elected president, he still placed the Emperor above himself. And so, the government decides to pardon Enomoto Takeaki. They decide that Enomoto was misguided, but actually too talented. He did something no one else could possibly do, and instead of being sentenced to death, Enomoto becomes a politician in the new democratic government of Japan. The government of Japan is mostly run by politicians from the Satsuma and Shoshu clans, but he overcomes the government's strong bias against outsiders by continually trying to prove his loyalty and putting in his best effort. In fact, Enomoto starts gaining popularity amongst the common people in Japan, and Enomoto uses this newfound popularity to do something very strange. He starts encouraging people to emigrate to the Pacific and North and South America, thinking that in time this flood of emigration could cause Japanese colonies to form in these continents. So Enomoto builds an emigration bureau and spends the rest of his life encouraging Japanese people to emigrate abroad, even after he has finished working as a politician and until his death. And so, as Japan was forever changed by modernization and Western culture, Enomoto Takeaki in turn sent out Japanese people and Japanese culture to change other places. Enomoto promoted immigration, culminating today with 100,000 descendants in Peru, 300,000 descendants in Hawaii, and circa 2 million Japanese descendants in Brazil. And while the Republic of Esso did not survive, the flag of the Republic is still flown to this day. The island of Esso was renamed to Hokkaido, and they adapted Esso's flag to be the flag of the island. Enomoto died at the age of 72 from kidney failure, with a legacy of colossal failure, but not one of shame.